sky belongs to us.
You know, that might be the first commercial I've ever seen the Air Force produce that made me go, damn, America. Most of the time I see Air Force commercials, I'm not going to lie, I don't get all that excited about it. That one, though, that kind of got my blood flowing. I was like, okay, this has got to be for the Marines, right? Because they're like land and sea and all this other crap. And then they just start letting us freaking like, no, there's no way. There's no way. Nope, that was an Air Force recruiting video, ladies and gentlemen. That's actually pretty baller. And Cock Faraday already coming in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate you, man. Listen, today we're going to ask the question, and I'm going to first, I want to let you guys know the ceasefire is in effect right now. And even though I state that, literally right as I hit the go live button, ended up getting reports over inside of alerts coming through in northern Israel. So whether or not it's the Houthis or whether or not it's Iran, time will tell here in just a sec. But a ceasefire in between Israel and Iran was brokered today by the Trump administration. And apparently it's holding up, at least for the time being, minus that. I see people are saying ceasefire's over, it's over, it's over, it's over. It's over already, man. I literally just walked away. I cut the dang thumbnail and I came in. Yeah, missiles shot. Were they shot from Iran? That's the question. Okay, so the missiles got shot from Iran. Great. Amazing. So in the 2 minutes I took to take this sucker and go live, Iran already decided to screw me over with the entire show that I had stacked up and ready to go for you guys, and they broke the dang ceasefire. That's just awesome. Ain't that just fan-frickin-tastic? Well, let's go over and take a look and see what's going on out there then, shall we? Because I did see the red alerts that were coming across for Israel. Now, if that ceasefire is in fact broken, well, then we got another problem. Scent Defender just came out and said that is a false alarm. Red alerts now across northern and southern Israel. Let's see. Yep. Allegedly ceasefire violated. Oh my goodness. How is it? Dude, I mean, literally minutes ago. Why does this always happen, man? Literally in the time it takes me to get it. Missiles. Okay. Just got the word. Missiles were fired from Iran. Imagine that. Well, they're done. That's all I'm going to say about that. They're done. If that's the case, they're done. Rest in peace, Iran. You guys done effed up. Here's the red alerts. Let me get these up on your screen that are coming across right now, coming out of Israel, showing the different areas. You got Beersheba up on the screen, which of course is surrounding the Nevatim Air Base. Looks like they actually went over and targeted that. Now, oh my goodness. Now I got to change the title of this dang video before I even get it going live. Ceasefire violated. I'm still going to leave as the Ayatollah dead, though, because I do believe that there is a possibility that the Ayatollah could be dead. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. It might be the reason that this ceasefire has now been violated. I haven't seen any information come out from him, but right about 1 hour before, and I mean literally 1 hour before Trump announced the ceasefire. Let me get this up. Let me find him real quick because I've got so many little Arabic writing things up on the screen. I'm looking for something in particular. This is why I actually think it's a possibility, because Trump announced it. Let me get over here. Let me get this up. 1 hour before Trump announced it. Well, who's ready for a rodeo, ladies and gentlemen? Because, you know, tonight's going to be a rodeo. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. So an hour before the Trump administration announced all of this was going down, the Ayatollah actually put this out. He said, those who know the Iranian people and their history know that the Iranian nation isn't a nation that surrenders. And then about an hour later, we had about an hour later is when Trump ended up making an announcement coming out and saying that, hey, look, there's a ceasefire. If you guys ended up missing the fiasco with the Iranian ballistic missile strike on the American airbase over in Qatar earlier, there's a live stream on that. You guys can go back and check that out. Long story short, earlier in today, Iran ended up responding to the United States of America, coming out and stating, or it didn't even come out and state. Actually, I do have the statement from them, but they ended up firing about 15 ballistic missiles at the U.S. airbase over inside of Qatar. That ended up turning out to be a big poop show. All right. All of the aerial defense assets shot everything out of the sky. There was not one recorded impact. The Al-Assad airbase over inside of Iraq. So now we're shifting focus from Qatar going into Iraq. allegedly had a couple drones that ended up like being shot at them, unknown, unconfirmed. But either way, we know that there was no injuries. The United States government and the Qatari government both came out and said there was no injuries in the attack, and it was successful. Jacob Busher coming in with a $1.99, and Durka Soul coming in as well. Appreciate you there, buddy. Let's see what else we got. Chaz says, could we ever really trust them on a broken ceasefire? Could we ever have really trusted them on the ceasefire? No, Chaz, I don't think we could, which is what we're seeing right now. And I also don't think they could have trusted us either. As we're on, Worker says, Matt, you rock. Keep up the fight for, missed it, truth. We'll always do, man. Always will do. Jacob says it doesn't start for another 12 hours. No, that's not true. So it came in multiple different phases. It was originally supposed to be complete within the first 6 hours. That's when it was all supposed to be wrapped up. Israel was supposed to be the first ones to cease. Iran then was supposed to have another 6 hours on top of that, not to be shooting at Israel. Clearly, the clock just passed. I think it was not that long ago. And so it's on, ladies and gentlemen, it's on. Ceasefire starts in 1 hour, 45 minutes. See, okay, so thank you very much. That is what I originally thought. And then somebody else came out and gave another one. You missed my 20-month message. Listen. Okay, thank God. Here, holy cow, man. You guys killing me in the chat today. I just trusted my gut and know where I was at. Okay, so that was my original thought, is that it wasn't supposed to kick in until midnight Eastern Standard Time. But, okay, look, let's just restart over here. Let's reset, because this is what came out, and there's a lot of people confused about what's going out, and you guys almost got me on that one until I read that, and I'm like, yep, that makes sense. So let's look originally at what the ceasefire is supposed to be. Let me get this up for you guys so I can show you exactly what Trump and exactly what JD ended up saying right before all this, right as all this crap was going down. All right. And it was very quite simple. It was stated by Donald Trump with the ceasefire announcement. Let me go back over here, because now I've got to go back in something completely different than what I plan on talking about today. So here it is. This is what Trump originally came out and said. He said, congratulations to everybody. It has been fully agreed by Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire in approximately 6 hours from now. Now, this statement ended up coming out at, let's check it right over here. This statement that he ended up putting out at, came out roughly, when did I post this? 4 hours ago. So yeah, there's still about 1 hour and 15 minutes or hour and a half to go. So the ceasefire is not completely and totally done with. So there's that. It's not there yet. Thank you, God, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you guys for bearing with me there for a quick sec. Hasn't happened. All right. So 2 more hours, hour and a half to go. Now, with that being said, he took it a little bit further. So 6 hours from now, when Israel and Iran have wound down and completed their progress and or final missions for 12 hours, at which point the war will be considered ended. So at that point, when nothing else is fired past that hour, that's when the war is supposed to be over. Holy freaking crap. Man, I was just like, yeah, of course it's violated. That just makes perfect sense. Why wouldn't it be violated? I got caught up in the bullshit too. And here I was last night preaching about all that stuff. So yeah, I ended up getting caught up in that crap myself. Look at that. I guess sometimes I just did, man. I just changed it back. Oh my goodness, man. Yeah, I see people saying nope, no call, BS, yeah, etc. Dude, I'm telling you right now, my brain has been fried with this crap today as I look at it. Now, this actually came out not that long ago. So as everybody's saying, ceasefire was violated, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I also want to point out, just because Israel got attacked, you guys got to understand that the moment Trump actually announced that ceasefire, there was actually bombs falling over in Tehran, massive strikes, as Trump actually announced the ceasefire. Trump is not going to be happy about this. Yeah, he's going to be fine. Do you know why? Because right before I come on here, literally right before I came on, this is the reports that were coming out of Tehran. So look, things have been exploding ever since Trump announced that ceasefire. There was things exploding all across Tehran with the reports, as soon as Trump came out with that, of targeted airstrikes that were taking place over inside of Iran. And there's actually some videos of it that were actually on the street. And it's leading a bunch of people to speculate, including myself, if the ceasefire actually went through, because for the last God only knows how many months, for God only knows how many months, the Ayatollah has been stating time and time again that they will continue to enrich uranium. They're going to enrich uranium. That's what Iran has always been stating. They're going to enrich, they're going to enrich, they're going to enrich. I got you, Matt. Start looking into China. Oh, this guy, I'm not even worried about it yet. Ayatollah probably took a bomb to the turban. Yeah, very well could have been, right? So for the longest time, that's what we end up hearing, right? And then today, of all days, when Iran ends up attacking a U.S. airbase, Trump's like, we're not going to say crap. You know what? We brokered the ceasefire agreement, etc. And as he's putting that information out, I am getting in report after report of a lot of bombs falling on freaking Iran over inside of Tehran. All right. Airbursts over Haifa in Israel is a new report that just came in as well. So that very well could be. But yeah, new ballistic missile attack, it looks like, coming in from Iran. Crap. And Trump allegedly just put out an angry tweet over on Truth Social, so I'm sure that'll come out here in just a sec as well. All right. But yeah, these are the bombs we're talking about falling on Tehran. Now, these ones were literally right before I came live just moments ago. Matt Borgeson says, I was literally saying to my friends, there's no way that Trump just announcing a ceasefire without anybody backing up was BS. He's a peach head. Let's see here. High Desert Marine asked, did Israel agree? Yes, Israel did come out, and they did, in fact, agree to the ceasefire. The details of it, I forget, but I have it coming up here in a sec with who brokered it, with who, and how it all went down. Matt coming in again, he says, the thing is that a majority of Americans aren't going to know they're still bombing. They will believe our government 1,000%. You know what? You're absolutely right. They will. Yes, it is still going. There is still, like, the ceasefire has not taken effect yet, ladies and gentlemen. It hasn't yet. Aaron David says, thank you, Matt. And Tristan Allen says, you missed my 20th message, which I haven't seen another message from Tristan in here. He says, let's go, Trump, show the big stick, and they back down. Sorry, Tristan, it was the first one that came through and it didn't populate. I had to go all the way back in the backside to see it. So yeah, there's that. I see people saying fake news. It's not. I just got, like, this notification just came through. Iran state television is announcing a ceasefire between Iran and Israel. A ceasefire was imposed on the enemy because of Iran's successful missile retaliation attacks. So Iran state media is saying that the ceasefire is still going to go into effect and take place, even though they just launched a freaking ballistic missile attack against Israel. I'm sure those videos are going to come in here in just a minute by the time we finish this. So let's not even bother about that. I want to show you guys the scenes that were over the Al-Adid. Yep. Airbase over in Qatar.
Allahu Akbar. Madam.
So again, this is the Iranian attack on the U.S. airbase over inside of Qatar earlier today. You guys can see all of the interceptors being fired up into the air. Like I said, about 15 in total were shot, and not a single one actually impacted the place. Now, interesting enough, right, we evacuated this place like last week, if not earlier. All right, we started moving aircraft and everything else, and there's a bunch of them that ended up getting moved to Saudi Arabia. I know we had F-22s that were staged over there not that long ago, but once all of this crap is, like, all of this crap as it's been going on, I'll bring up that one here in a little bit. I don't even want to go over Trump's freaking tweets. But what I want to do is I want to take you guys over to listen to what JD Vance had to say about this ceasefire while I gather my thoughts real quick.
Coming just now, joining us this evening, Vice President J.D. Vance. Mr. Vice President, thanks for coming.
Absolutely, thank you.
Just seconds ago, the president went to Truth Social and typed this. It has been fully agreed by and between Israel and Iran that there will be a complete and total ceasefire. Complete and total ceasefire is what he typed.
Yep.
What does that mean? How did it come about? What's the development here?
Well, we were actually working on that just as I left the White House to come over here, so that's good news that the president was able to get that across the finish line. I think what it means, Brett, is quite simple. First of all, the president, without, knock on wood, having a single American casualty obliterated the Iranian nuclear program. We are now in a place where we weren't a week ago. A week ago, Iran was very close to having a nuclear weapon. Now, Iran is incapable of building a nuclear weapon with the equipment they have because we destroyed it. So that's a very, very big thing. Now, what that means, I think, is we have to talk to Iran and, of course, to Israel about what the future holds. Because while we have obliterated the Iranian nuclear program, our hope and our expectation is that they're not going to try to rebuild that program. And I think that's what the president is really trying to figure out here, is to build a long-term settlement here to where we can have peace in the region, where our regional allies and, of course, the American people, most importantly, can be secured, but where we can ensure that the destruction of the Iranian nuclear program that has already happened is not something they try to rebuild.
All right, so I didn't even get to finish reading it, but I ended up finding out while that was going on, Trump's latest tweet that he ended up putting out because, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, policy by freaking tweeting. This is what Trump just put out. He said, Israel and Iran came to me almost simultaneously and said, peace. I knew the time was now. The world and the Middle East are the real winners. Both nations will see tremendous love, peace, and prosperity in their futures. They have so much time to gain and yet so much to lose if they stray from the road of righteousness and truth. The future for Israel and Iran is unlimited and filled with great promise. God bless you both. So that's the latest that Trump ended up putting out. I actually can't believe that literally just came out as Israel's getting the freaking crap bombed out of it by more ballistic missiles. And while bombs are falling over top of Tehran, it seems kind of like weird that all of this is out there. So yeah, let's get back over there. So here's the deal. In order for Tehran to come to this conclusion when they have been, oh my goodness, there it is. There it is. All right. You know what? You know what, Iran? If you could just slow down on launching freaking ballistic missiles right now, that would be great. That'd really make my day, but they won't. They're going to continue to launch ballistic missiles. Here is reportedly a ballistic missile that ended up flying over Israeli airspace not that long ago. Now, call me crazy, man, but I feel like the sun is still... That doesn't seem right at all. I feel like the sun quite hasn't peaked over there, but actually, as a matter of fact, it looks like the sun is now starting to come up over top of Israel. Look at that. So that video very well could be brand new of this latest ballistic missile strike by Iran on Israel. So, dear God, man. Yeah, and here's another one. Here's another one. Look, dear God. Why don't they just stop, man? What the hell is wrong with people these days? So my thought process on all of this as we go into it, because this shit is just going to continue to unfold and go as the stream remains up, and apparently the chat is just freaking lighting up right now. Trump said that the final missions, thank you, Joseph Stanley. Let me get this up. Trump said that the final missions continue during the 6 hour. I thoroughly believe that is going to be the case. Meat Night coming in and gifting out 5. Jason Carmichael says, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I hope they can figure it out. They're not going to, man. I really don't think it's going to be the case. High Desert Marine, did Turkey threaten the U.S. if they fired shots? I didn't hear that, and I've had an earpiece in pretty much all day long listening to all the different feeds that came out. I feel like Turkey threatening the United States would have been one of the things I heard. Matt Bordson, the thing is that the majority of Americans aren't going to know if they're still bombing. Yep, I believe that. Okay, I think I'm all cut up to par unless my feed is just jacked right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. 5,000 you guys in here and you're all throwing stuff. Doing my absolute best to keep up tonight. So the thing is that the Ayatollah, I highly doubt, would agree to a ceasefire, all right, if the uranium enrichment was still off of the table. I'll say that again. I do not believe that the Ayatollah would have agreed to a ceasefire if the uranium enrichment was still on the table. And for the last 48 plus hours, we've heard a lot of information coming out of Iran talking about regime change and several other things, and people saying that all of how do I want to say this? Basically, that there is different generals within the Iranian military that are willing to defect and come out. Man, there's another one. God, why does this always happen? There's more breaking information coming out right now as we speak. So give me just a sec because it's all starting to pull in. I got to grab this. I've literally got 3 different free feeds right now up that I'm like refreshing information on to make sure as this is now unfolding, I've got it all running to make sure that you guys are getting the latest and greatest up to date. All right. So looks like several other areas were affected by this. Yep. All right. So let me read this off for you. Give me a sec here. This is a statement from the Iranian foreign minister not that long ago. He said the military operations of our powerful armed forces to punish Israel for its aggression continued until the very last minute. Together with all Iranians, I thank our brave armed forces who remained ready to defend our dear country until the last drop of blood and who respond to any attack of the enemy until the very last minute. Let me check something real quick. So, yeah, if what I'm thinking is true, which it just quite possibly can't be. So local time over inside Tehran is 7:01 a.m. The foreign minister, excuse me, not the Ayatollah, but the foreign minister for Iran had stated that their operations continued on until 4 a.m. and that they're going to be doing that. So the only logical explanation for this attack on Israel from the Iranian perspective would be the constant bombardment that's taking place over inside of Tehran. And that they are still responding to those different threats. Now, this could easily turn into a tit-for-tat situation. This video reportedly is just also coming out of Iran. So like I told you guys, this stuff is continuing on like over and over and over there. And right now they're just going back and forth. So I think what we're going to see is large barrages going back and forth until all this crap like finishes. This is Tehran. There's other videos and stuff like that are coming out of Tehran showing several different bombings of the area. Yeah, here's Tehran about an hour ago to give you guys an idea. So it is kind of funny to me that, you know, the Israeli side, for as much like punishment as they've been like dishing out, and I hear you guys, like I root for Israel, as you know, that people come out. This was Tehran about an hour ago.
محسن صدا رو دریا محسن مواظب باش بیا من دارم از پایین میبینم موج
All right, so Israel, like I said, was keeping up those bombings. You had the target assassination or whatever that supposedly took place over inside of Tehran, which I think it is possible that in order to get the ceasefire actually approved, and it would make sense why Iran is being so angry right now, is that's what's coming out. Ooh, Shiza. No, that can't be true. I would have heard about that. That one's false. Iran's claiming they shot down an F-35. Definitely was a couple drones that got shot down over Tehran today. And I'm going to take you guys into Baghdad as well, because this, I mean, we had talked about, give me a sec while I grab this sucker. We'll listen to JD and them in a sec. So this is Camp Taji. Camp Taji over inside of Iraq. And just a couple hours ago, it actually ended up getting hit, reportedly, with drone fire. Let me see if I can refresh this because it's not working right now. Give me a sec. So Camp Taji over in Iraq, hopefully. Why aren't you working now, man? Always got to have issues. Always got to have them. Here we go. Make sure this is Camp Taji. Don't want to give you the wrong one. Yep. All right, so this is Taji over in Iraq. Now, Taji got handed over to the Iraqi military, okay? Taji gets handed over to the Iraqi military. They do training there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And what I've been told is that we still have U.S. military personnel that go over there to train. I see people, John Boy, saying not our base anymore. Completely and totally agree with you. Not our base. But it doesn't mean that the U.S. doesn't go over there and actually conduct training with the Iraqis. And I'll show you guys the intended target here in just a minute. But yeah, Camp Taji ended up getting attacked. All right, so this is just now breaking and coming out. Israel's emergency service, Megan, David Adams said that there were no reports of casualties or hits from the latest Iranian missile fire. So that's good to know. So we got that going for us, right? So no casualties took place over there. But yeah, Taji ended up getting lit up pretty dang good tonight. All right. Over inside of Iraq. And this is kind of significant in Matt's mind when I see this, because if there was in fact U.S. troops that were over there on that base, it is possible that the Iranians were targeting them. And there is U.S. troops that do go over there, and they do train some Iraqi security forces on side of that base, like on that base. Now, what the actual intended target is being reported as, give me a sec, let me roll through these for you. But the actual intended target reported as over on this base was actually a radar site. And I'll show you guys an image of that here in just a sec. Stop. Shh. Shh. There's actual radar site over on Taji. Come on, video. Where are you? There we go. Here's the radar site. I could throw the grid and everything else up. This is the radar site allegedly that they were after. Other thing that they said that they were actually after over on Taji was actually an aerial defense asset as well. It said that there were drones that ended up striking this sucker. So it is possible that Iran launched an attack over on Taji, which again, there could have been U.S. forces staged over on Taji, or it was one of the Iranian-backed militias that decided, hell no, there is going to be no ceasefire, and we're just going to pick a fight. I've seen jihadists do that crap in the past. All right, shit, dude, Russians do that freaking crap. All right, we get ceasefires and stuff like that announced all the time. I want to go over and I want to check out and see, because all of this came in. Even though we have that report, I am very curious, because I ended up, I believe it was Haifa, I ended up saying that those ballistic missiles were falling over the top of, and I would be really surprised if there wasn't any more information coming out of Haifa right now of any of that. So give me 1 sec while I get that up there and just double check that nothing new is up on it, and there it is. So here is a ballistic missile interception being reported over the top of Haifa. And as I'm pulling this up, there is reports of yet another ballistic missile attack that could possibly be on its way over to Israel as we speak. I'll say that again, another report of a potential ballistic missile attack on its way over as we speak. I see a lot of people claiming that there's not going to be a ceasefire. Oh my goodness. I hear a lot of people saying that there's not going to be a ceasefire. Be really interesting. Here is the current. Let me get this up for you guys. Here is the current. And it's going to take a minute for these videos to come in, ladies and gentlemen, so please be patient with me as I do that. But this is the current red alerts that ended up coming in for this ballistic missile attack over on Israel. Looks like Iran just launched another round. Let me see if I can't find some more information on that as we do it. This is crazy that this is happening right now. I think we all kind of expected this to come out. If you didn't, I don't know what to tell you. This is freaking insane. Oh my goodness. All right. You guys want to see Tehran getting lit up right now? Let's show you guys Tehran getting lit up. Get that up here for you. Of course Tehran's getting freaking lit up, man. Okay, and as this is playing up on your screen, I am apparently not the only one that thinks so. It looks like what I'm hearing, I 100% am going to say that this is not confirmed. So before I make this statement, I'm going to tell you guys it's not confirmed and the information is a little bit stale. So before I say this, I want you guys to just chill out for a minute. There are unconfirmed reports that Khamenei has been killed, along with his family. I'll say that again. Right now, there is unconfirmed reports that Khamenei has been killed, along with his family. Say it one more time. There is unconfirmed reports that Khamenei has been killed, along with his family. I'm just going to go ahead and run a poll. I like it. Somebody suggested it. I'm doing it. I actually think that this is more likely the scenario of what actually happened. Go ahead, ladies and gentlemen. 6,000 of you in here. I know you want to vote on it. Do you think that Khomeini is dead? Go ahead, send your vote. It's a yay or a nay. Do you think that Khomeini is dead? And if so, who killed him? Now, it is kind of odd to me. Yeah, I hear people say the coup is happening. It's going down. I see you guys over there in the chat. It is possible that that could be what's actually happening. And the reason this is another possibility, right? I would not put it past the United States of America and Israel to announce a ceasefire while simultaneously enacting, while simultaneously killing Khomeini, okay? I wouldn't put it past. And the reason I say that is about 12 days ago, you know, the United States of America was saying that we were going to have peace talks with Iran on Sunday, fully knowing that Israel was about to bomb the living hell out of them. Yep. Get in there, make your vote count. I ended up running a poll the other day over on my X account, asking you guys whether or not, asking you guys whether or not you think, you know, what was it? The USA was going to strike Iran within 24, 72 hours. Believe it or not, huge chunk of you guys, about 30%, ended up voting and stating yes, that Tehran was going to be attacked within 12 hours. Turned out Tehran was attacked within 12 hours. Greedo the Green says, methinks Iran top brass got schwacked. There are a lot of boats out there with ordnance, and the new guys said, no, we out. Dude, it's possible, man. It is possible. I want to know why my feed's not working over on YouTube. It's like they are constantly trying to get it. I'm trying to see your guys' comments and stuff as they're coming in. Somebody down there in the comment section is opining, saying he's safe in Turkey. Jacob Visor spent my day off smoking pork butt in honor of the Ayatollah. They're in net. Greetings, Matt. Everything I'm reading, the ceasefire doesn't officially take effect for another 90 minutes. Think World War I before the armistice became official. Yes, you are correct. The ceasefire is not supposed to start for another hour and 20 minutes now. That's how long the comment's been sitting there. Tom Bone says it's just like the end of World War I. They're going to keep at each other until the very last second. It is very possible. Joseph Stanley said Trump said the final missions continue during the 6 hour. Correct, sir. Smeet Knight coming in, giving out 5 Speak the Truth memberships as well. And BBG coming in, gifting out an additional 5. Yeah, this crap's just getting freaking stupid, man. It's almost like 2 kids that are just continuing to fight. I don't even know how to explain this to you guys as we watch it go down. Looks like a new wave is heading towards the center of Israel. That's what they're putting out right now. You can expect impacts coming up in the next couple minutes. Iran's last known attack launched minutes ago. So minutes ago, the last known attack was launched by Iran. This is the projected impact area. Everybody's saying no ceasefire, but it is possible that that could be going down. Actually, okay, so let's see here. Program, I can't even read your dang name, and he says, actual, if the Ayatollah is unalived, the Clintons are in Iran for sure. Yeah, they'll probably release the Epstein files once the Ayatollah is freaking killed. Like, they'll probably release the Epstein files like the moment we hear the Ayatollah is dead. That way the whole dang thing just gets buried. Nobody even knows it, like what actually happened. That wouldn't freaking surprise me. That would actually really piss me off if they ended up doing that, because I want to, yeah. All right, let's go over here. Let me check out some of these areas, because if that's the case and they're going down targeting that airbase, there's a good chance that they're going to try to slam the crap out of it in retaliation for what's going on over there. So let me get that pulled up and see if we can't find it. Yeah, and Iran, like I said, the foreign minister came out saying that they are imposing the ceasefire, but they're continuing to blast ballistic missiles. State TV declares victory ceasefire imposed on the enemy through missile attacks, and the sirens are wailing. Yeah, no shit. All right, here's Tehran not that long ago. Again, like I said, bombs have been falling on him for the last couple hours. So, I mean, if there is a ceasefire, I don't know. Like, it's supposed to happen. Let's pray to God it does, to be perfectly honest with you, because this thing is going to get stupid really fast. Here we got some images of missiles that got fired by Iran. You can see the streaks going up through the sky there in that one. And you can see it right here in this one as well. All right, you guys can see them up on there. Here is all the projected impact sites of where Israelis need to have their dang heads down. Truthfully, if you're in Israel and you're not in a bunker right now, you're a freaking idiot. I would find my way to the nearest bunker as soon as possible. Seeing that Tel Aviv and Haifa ended up getting hit with the last barrage is what people are claiming right now. I haven't seen any confirmed information of that so far. Here is a video of one of the ballistic missiles that Iran ended up firing. This would be outgoing. It's like, dude, take a break from freaking launching ballistic missiles, Iran. Seriously, like, just do the entire world a break and just don't do some dumb shit. Like, for the next couple of hours, if you could, that'd be great. Seriously. All right, let me get, here is another one. Oh, that's that interception. Give me a sec, guys. Sorry, because it's all coming. All right, let me check and see if we can track this. Because what I want to check and see, because Israel is going to end up dominating the feed, right? And I don't want to forget that we also have troops in Iraq, and there is a very big possibility that if Iran is firing ballistic missiles over Israel, it could be getting overshadowed right now, that all of this stuff is going down. So that's what I'm looking for right now. Because that radar site and the aerial defense assets that got taken out not that long ago, it is possible that they did that in preparation for a strike here in the last coming hours. Another video coming out of Camp Taji.
جت افتر باع خطايا ذول الرادار شلون ضربوه؟ طلعوا السيارات سيدي. جت افتر باع خطايا ذول الرادار شلون ضربوه؟ طلعوا السيارات سيدي.
I'd say it's confirmed at that point that they actually did have a solid freaking hit on that radar tower. Let's see here. Give me a second as I read some of this stuff as it continues to come through. Go back over here, check this feed real quick. All right, so reportedly, the way the media is trying to outplay this right now is that for the ceasefire agreement at midnight is when Iran is supposed to stop shooting, even though Iranian state media just announced that they did. Even though the Iranian foreign minister ended up stating not that long ago that at 4 a.m., so that's 3 hours ago, when he ended up making that announcement, that they had continued to defend themselves all the way up to the very last minute. It's just unfortunate the amount of stuff that's coming in. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have more information on this that you want me to get up here on the screen, you guys have my information right down here in the bottom left corner. If you guys are over on X, you guys want to tag me in some stuff and get it up over here, I will most certainly do that for you as we sit here and wait for this new round of ballistic missiles to enter Israeli airspace. Most certainly looks like, hold on. There is a report, which I don't know if it's credible or not, of a ballistic missile impact that looks like it is in a populated area over inside Israel. This is latest video of one of the interceptions. So it looks like the Iranian ballistic missiles have now made their way into Iranian airspace. Let me get that up on the screen for you guys. Holy frickin' cow. All right, and as that sucker's streaking across the sky, looks like there's reports of ballistic missile impacts in Beersheba. So let me go ahead and get that up on the map and take it down there, and let me show you guys why that's important. Give me a sec here. Oh yeah, remember how I told you the Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq likely got targeted by a ballistic missile earlier? Before I close this out, I at least want to show you guys this. This was earlier in the day at the same time that the air base over inside of Qatar got targeted by Iranian forces. This is what is reported to be ballistic missile intercepts going out near Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq earlier today. Again, this is not present. This was several hours ago when Iran had originally attacked the air base over inside of Qatar. This is reportedly to be outgoing ballistic missile intercepts inside of Iraq near the Al-Assad Air Base. right. Looks like that report I saw earlier about the ballistic missile impact over inside Israel did end up getting confirmed. This is in Beersheba. Just to give you guys an idea, it is one image that ended up coming out. So it looks like there was a confirmed impact over inside of Beersheba in southern Israel. Just so you guys are aware, that is currently going on. All right. I want to bring you guys over to here. Give me one sec. Got to move this sucker over to the appropriate battle space and get you guys down in there. All right, we're going to pull you guys up on the screen. So here is Israel, just so you guys are aware of where that's at. A lot of you guys don't. This is Jerusalem. Original reports of strikes were going in towards Jerusalem. And then as we get up over here into Beersheba, you can see the general vicinity of where all of that was going down. So that's where those impacts actually ended up taking place. All the way up north in Haifa as well. That's all the way up over here in Israel. So Beersheba, all the way down here in the south. And then up over here in the northern part, I saw reports of like an airburst munition that were going off over there, although all of that is unconfirmed. Trey Yinks, Fox News reporters coming out right now stating that multiple missile intercepts are soaring through the skies over Tel Aviv. So Tel Aviv's got plenty that are coming in, running in now. Jesus, man. Slow down, everybody. Ooh. Ooh, man. Who is this gentleman? I am seeing more reports that the Ayatollah was killed. So I'll say that again. I am seeing more unconfirmed reports that the Ayatollah actually got killed. So it is very possible, if that is the case, that is the reason this ceasefire is not ceasing. Now, like I heard a bunch of you guys end up going back and echoing over to World War I and all of that taking place. But it is very possible, like I said, it makes sense to me that was the kind of like nexus to get them to come out and announce it, and why we're seeing a bunch of mixed signals coming out of Iran right now. Now, I want to go over here to the inbox. And I want to start checking on what you guys are stating. About 50-50 chance is what you guys are stating. Out of the 2,000 votes that are in, is the Ayatollah dead? Literally dead nuts, 51 to 49%. 51% say yes, 49% say no. Feel free to keep throwing those votes in there. Phil McCracken says, I have been subscribed since Rob started covering the war in Ukraine in 2022, and it's still just as good. Smeet Knight, Global Hawk being tracked at 57,000 feet. Oh, great. Papa V, becoming a true supporter. Appreciate you, friend. And 502 Outlaw, thank you for your hard work, keeping us updated and informed. Shout out to OG Nannergang. Hell yeah, dude. I miss those days so much. Hope that we get confirmation on the Ayatollah. Incog Faraday with 20 says Israel doing last minute regime change targeting, because certainly appears that way. Incog Faraday, it certainly appears that way. Danny Goland, a huge rocket landed half a mile from my mom's house, shattered windows in a 2-block radius. Danny, is your mom's house down in Beersheba by chance? Costa Merck coming in with 20 says, happy ceasefire violation, have a drink on me. We're not in violation mode yet, ladies and gentlemen. Ceasefire doesn't officially end for another hour. Just FYI, BBG coming in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Appreciate you, friend. I think I already ended up reading that one off, but I always just end up screwing it up anyways. I don't think he's dead. A lot of you guys don't, and a lot of you guys think he's due. I'll tell you right now, like if it was going to come out that he's dead, now is about the time for it to happen, or within the next hour. Like if Iran continues to fire their ballistic missiles, right, like past that time frame, I would say you've got a fairly good possibility that he's likely dead. Because again, you know, it doesn't make sense for the Ayatollah and Iran to kind of like change how they're doing. Here's another video coming out of Beersheba. And get this one up. Kind of looks like maybe the same cloud. Oh my God. Give me a sec right here. Make sure this one is safe for watching before I end up putting this up on the screen for you guys. There. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with yes. So give me a sec here. Let me get this up over to you guys. This is reported ballistic missile strike over inside of Israel. Location is not determined. Give me a second to open it up because it's coming through via Telegram. It does look credible, and it does look like I can actually share this with you guys. So I feel kind of comfortable with that. All right, open it. You'd be a pain in my ass. Let me get this up on the appropriate screen. Stop. Stop. It just decided it wanted to do its own thing, man. Why do computers always do that? You know, why do they just decide they can do whatever the heck they want when you don't want them to? And there it goes again, doing it again. Stop putting it on that other screen. Thank you. All right, here we go. Let me get this sucker rewound and volume. Hook, appreciate you sending me that telegram. Oh, that's not good. All right, so new report just came out of this location, said a direct impact reported on a 7-story residential structure in Beersheba. Now, if that is the case, undoubtedly, if that's actually what ended up taking place over there, I got a feeling that is not going to turn out good. Let me get this up here on the screen because more stuff is now pouring out over in this feed. Oh, man. All right, look at the impact site over inside of Beersheba. Allegedly, reportedly, all right, and confirmed ballistic missile impact over inside of Beersheba. Go ahead and take that in for yourself. Pull that off the screen because God only knows what else is coming out. Ooh, man. Yeah, that doesn't look good at all. Let's hope those folks are down in the freaking bunker if that's the case, because if you end up having a civilian mass casualty event like this, I got a feeling Israel is going to lose their freaking mind. I see people saying he's gone. Yeah, I mean, I would expect this kind of retaliation because, you know, look, Iran has struck civilian structures since all of this started, right? It's not like that they haven't. But this is I don't want to say a different level because that would be almost a lie, but there's a lot of damage being done right now over there. Jonathan Knox says, why schedule a ceasefire for a later time? Brother, good freaking question. Good question. There's your video for you. Get some sound on here.
Whoa.
You know, I see somebody saying Israel's going to have to respond to this, but at the same time, man, Israel's been bombing the crap out of Tehran for the last several hours. For the last several hours, Israel's been bombing the crap out of Tehran. So what more are they going to do in order to respond to this? I see you guys saying Red Alert says Dead Sea Hotel Center was hit 7 minutes ago. All right, let's pull that up if that is the case. Just keep in mind that that's unconfirmed. The Dead Sea Hotel. All right, we'll get this one going through in just a sec. I'm going to leave that up. That way I can reference that here in just a second. Let me move this out of the way because there's so much crap going on right now. It's not even funny. I am not familiar with where that location is at. There we go. Oh, for the love of God, man. There's so many of them over there. Okay, so, well, there's lots of Dead Sea hotels, ladies and gentlemen, just FYI, just to give you a general idea, but somewhere in this general vicinity is where that would be. And it's also in the general vicinity of where Beersheba kind of like rests down in that area as well. So, great. All right, let me get back over here so I can pull this up because this is actually a decent feed. Some of the stuff that's going down. Here is some of the reported damage that was done following that strike.
נפל אצלנו בבית. הלך לנו הבית עכשיו. אין מה לעשות.
Yeah, I mean, if this is the case, man, and that's that building that ended up getting struck, I find it very unbelievable. Holy shnikes, dude. I would find it very unbelievable that people actually didn't get killed in that. My wife My life unscripted. Yeah. Are we surprised the terrorist would lie? Oh my God. No, we're not surprised. And technically, if we want to be technical about it, they haven't lied. All right. If we want to get technical about it, they said they haven't lied, but this clearly is not a freaking military site that ended up getting struck. That is a civilian structure. That is a gosh dang freaking building. Now it is possible, because this goes both ways, that maybe Iran was targeting some senior Israeli official and they're going to come out with a BS statement about why they did what they did, but that's not going to buff out. That's not going to buff out. That is a bad hit, man. The thing is the fact that there's still people moving around inside those buildings. And I know, all right, I know for a fact that not everybody gets into the dang bunker when they're given an alert to get in the bunker, but they also might not have had such a long warning ahead in order to do so. Sending a W to my fitter. I don't even know what that means, buddy. Yeah, minus 58 minutes. We'll see how that actually ends up playing out, because I'm not quite sure it's going to be that whatsoever. All right. Following the situational assessment, the Home Front Command published that it is now permitted to leave protected spaces in several areas across Israel. Search and rescue forces are operating in several locations across the country with reports of fallen projectiles that were received. Public is requested to continue to follow the instructions of the Home Front Command. Let me get this new feed up over here for you guys, because it looks like I even have even more crap coming in as well, as all these are coming out. It's a lot. It just blows my mind how much stuff is coming in. I know you guys can hear some of the Telegram alerts that are coming through. We come back over here to this other feed and see what else we have. Yeah. So yeah, 7-story building ended up getting hit. 7-story building ended up getting hit. So that's what we have on that one over in Beersheba. Wow, man. That's just insane. That's freaking nuts. I can't believe that. How are you about to do that crap right now towards the end of this? It's just nuts. Absolutely nuts. All right. Give me one sec here as I pull up some more of these as we continue to look through it. So all this garbage is just unfolding as we go. All right. Let me grab this. Let's see here. All right. I'm going to take a quick mental break for 1 minute. I'm going to let you guys listen to JD Vance as I pull some more stuff up.
Has just put out.
And this administration, Brett, it happens quite a bit, actually, but we knew this was coming. The draft, it was interesting. I just read the draft about 2 minutes before we went on the air. It was a little bit different from what the president had showed me a couple of hours ago. But again, I knew that he was working the phones as I was on the way over here. So I knew exactly what we were going to do. And look, I love that about this presidency and this administration, is he's always working. He doesn't say, you know, the vice president's going to do an interview, so I'm going to stop doing anything. He says, you know, we're going to do the American people's business. The vice president knows what I'm trying to accomplish. And if I get it done, great, because we're going to talk about it and celebrate it, because it is a thing to celebrate. I can't emphasize this enough, Brett. We have destroyed the Iranian nuclear program.
Doesn't that feel a little bit, I don't know, premature celebration from this administration, talking about like they're all happy about this? Listen, new report coming out right now says that a senior nuclear scientist got eliminated over inside of Tehran about an hour and a half ago. So he gone. Let's hope he's Iranian and not Russian, for just, I don't know, the sake of peace at this point in time. Yeah, there's reports of extension damage. I'm trying to see what I'm scrubbing for you guys real quick, just to let you know, is reports of casualties being pulled out of the rubble over in Beersheba. I haven't seen any come through yet. I literally don't see it. Oh, god dang. Mike Flynn, he's threatening frickin' the Ayatollah. He says, do not underestimate the American people's desire for peace. America will fight for peace at all costs. That being said, asking our leadership for a clear statement on the objectives, the criteria, and the conditions of ceasefire with a fantastic look like you. Jeez, man. How many more of these dang videos have to come through? Give me one sec here. Freaking nuts. All right. There's the one that I was showing you guys earlier. Here it is. More ballistic missiles, looks like, are finally getting picked up and making their way out there. So give me a sec. show you guys this ballistic missile feed as it's coming through. Got a new overhead feed from the ballistic missile attack over inside of Beersheba for you guys.
Whoa. Whoa.
And I've got some new photographs that are also coming out of the Beersheba as well. Give me a sec. Let me get those up for you. As those come across, this is just getting freaking ridiculous, man. Like, how are they expecting ceasefire right now to take place? I mean, could it happen? Yeah, maybe. That's one of the photos I ended up showing you guys a little bit earlier as it goes through. There is another one showing extensive damage. I hadn't seen this photo yet. I do not remember putting it up on the screen, so that would be a new photo of the attacked area. That would be going out there. That one I have already shown you guys, shows a lot of damage to those vehicles. That actually looks like it's right outside the impact location. And there you have a bunch of fallout from the building, just wrecking the cars over there. Absolutely freaking bat crap crazy that all of this is currently happening. Give me a sec because I continue to do this. You guys are sending me plenty of stuff. That's just, it is important. So I'll go ahead and put that out. Missy B, thanks for putting that out. IDF actually ended up putting out earlier today that Yonatan Samarano was murdered and kidnapped during October 7th. And yesterday his body was recovered over inside of Gaza, along with the bodies of Staff Sergeant Shay Levinson and Afra Qatar in Gaza. So that's good news actually coming out that the IDF, I mean, obviously they're still working over inside Gaza. This is definitely taking precedence. Oh, geez. New video on the ground coming out of Beersheba. Let me get that up for you guys. Give you an idea of what some of that actually looks like over on the ground over there. Yeah, that's pretty extensive. If nobody got killed in that attack, I will be extremely surprised. Undoubtedly, I think that people are going to be killed and or wounded in that attack. Yep. That is just freaking wild. All right, looks like I got another feed over here. Let me take a look at this and get this up on the screen for y'all as I continue to report on this freaking madness as it's going down. Where is this one out of? Oh, stop it. That's not really showing me anything. That's not telling me anything. I do appreciate that feed, though. Let me keep this going. Get this out of here. Man, how do you guys just... Why is so much shit happening right now? Like, can we please just not do that? Oh, good. Oh, good. More reports from the Iranian state television talking about a ceasefire taking place. It's almost like they planned it out this way, that they were just going to be blasting Israel with ballistic missiles and then calling ceasefire on TV. It doesn't surprise me coming from the Iranian regime. That doesn't surprise me one tiny bit. That looks like it might have cooled off. Are you guys seeing any more reports coming in? Because I am not. Let me go back over here and check in on the activity. More pre-alerts going off. That's good. Aaron David coming in, giving out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Goat Fly Tie-in. Remember when we gave Palestine $50 million for condoms? Yes, I do. That actually ended up not being, I can't remember the words, what it was, in Gaza, I think was the place. Can we just more sand, says Jason Fridley. Yeah, I mean, maybe we should. Brian Tutos says, so Iran's having a spendex? For those of you guys that have never been in the military, spendex, you go to the range, etc. You have to shoot all of the ammunition you take out for training. I mean, you could turn it back in, but most of the time, if you end up not shooting your ammunition during that fiscal year, you end up not getting the same amount allotted. It's some bullshit government stuff that they end up doing. Anyways, at the end of the range day, you end up having a spendex, which is here's a bunch of ammo, get online, go freaking shoot it. That way we get more. That, ladies and gentlemen, is wasteful government spending at its finest, but it still is training and it's a good time for the troops. So I've never complained about it before in my life whenever I had a spendex. That's for dang sure. All right, let me get this back up because wow, does it just keep pouring out. Wow, wow, wow. Oh, love of God, man. All right, well, all that's cooling off and we're waiting on more stuff to come in. Nope. Nope, nope, nope. All right, well, it's a claim and it does fit with the earlier one, so I'm going to show you guys this, and this came out not that long ago. This is the Al-Assad Air Base over inside of Iraq. Looks like you had the phalanx going off on the ground. Give me a sec here. Get this. Like I said, I showed you guys that ballistic missile earlier, or the interceptors being fired off at the Al-Assad Air Base over inside of Iraq. That's actually a lovely sound. Oh my goodness. And it just keeps rolling in, doesn't it? All right. Let's see here. New video coming out of Beersheba. Let me get that up. People do not look happy. I would suspect that Israel is going to respond pretty strong to this attack because it just smacked that damn apartment building. I couldn't see this turning out any All right, just got a report. Another freaking Iranian ballistic missile barrage potentially on its way to Israel as we speak. Looks like I'm having several people confirm it. Third wave. There is a third wave of Iranian ballistic missiles that are currently inbound over into Israel. That is confirmed. All right. Let me get this up on the screen, show you guys the potential impact sites. If you're in Israel, you got just a couple minutes to get your dang head down. It's amazing how quick technology actually travels. Let me get it up. Let me get it up. Let me get it up. I'm sure you guys all have your red alerts, but basically, if you're anywhere inside Israel, get the hell down. Jerusalem, Ashdod, Tel Aviv, Netanya. I mean, dude, all the way down to Beersheba, dude, all the way down and around Gaza, for crying out loud. I mean, these things could impact pretty much anywhere. No idea how large this ballistic missile wave is, but most of the Israelis seem to have their dang heads down because they are just waiting on all this freaking crap to come in. I couldn't think anything other than the Ayatollah got killed for this type of freaking retaliation right before the quote-unquote ceasefire is supposed to be taking place. That's, I mean, the only thing that realistically makes sense. Stop it. Stop it. All right, new keyboard time. New keyboard time, ladies and gentlemen. My goodness. One more ballistic missile barrage. So now you've got a third wave of ballistic missiles that are inbound. Joe Noah says we need to see proof of his dead ass mangled body rather than just being told by you. Would you agree? Yes, I would. That's why I'm telling you that they are unconfirmed reports. And the moment I find his body, you better believe I will be putting the pictures out pretty much immediately. Pretty much immediately. Danny Golan, thank you for tagging me over on X. I really appreciate you putting that information out there. Aaron David coming in, giving out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. And that ought to catch us up to par for where we're at currently. All right, we need to see proof of his dead ass body. Yeah, we do. We need to see proof of his dead body. I knew this was too good to be true earlier. I just knew it. Something seemed off. Didn't seem right. So yeah, waiting on further for all that to come out. Southern Israel is under high alert. Looks like Beersheba is the point of contention for Iran. So if you're down in Beersheba, get the hell down. You've got more ballistic missiles that look like they're inbound. Here's some ballistic missile intercepts from the first wave that actually ended up coming in. Get those up for you guys. Man, they just don't stop. 2/3 of their rocket launchers were destroyed. The missile launches were destroyed. And there is your intercepts rolling up there across the screen of one of the first ballistic missiles that ended up getting shot over at Israel. Man, oh man. Why do we have so much freaking crap going on right now? You know, like I remember being a kid and hearing people talking about having peace in the Middle East. It does not surprise me that we can't even get that shit today. One day, ladies and gentlemen, there will be. I do thoroughly believe that. Just to remind everybody that Beersheba ended up getting struck. If you guys are just now joining us, 7-story complex over inside of Beersheba. Looks like it ended up taking a direct impact from an Iranian ballistic missile. No word yet on casualties down inside of Beersheba. There was people that were just outside of it, and they just got another alert for another wave of Iranian ballistic missiles that are on their way. Nope. Yeah, I mean, ceasefire very well still could be intact, because we have about 45 minutes to go before the ceasefire is supposed to take effect, and boy oh boy is Iran letting it fly. Let me go see, while we're waiting on that one to come in, and see if I can't pull something out of Tehran real quick while we are waiting on this next wave of ballistic missiles to start impacting Israel. Let me get this. It would be inconceivable to me that Israel is not still currently bombing the crap out of them. It's just, yeah, it's just not ever how that ends up working. Give me 1 sec while I pull this up and take a look at it. Yep. Okay. All right. So this just hit. Unconfirmed, but at least 3 killed in Beersheba from Iranian ballistic missile attacks. So at least 3 have been killed in Beersheba from the Iranian ballistic missile attacks. FYI, that is what is currently being reported. Oh, wow.
Боже, що був?
Ladies and gentlemen, I do not know if this ceasefire is necessarily going to actually stick, to be perfectly honest with you. Looks like Iran's trying to pick a fight, and I got a feeling they're going to get one. 3 killed in Beersheba from the Iranian ballistic missile strike. Throwing that out there. Something else I want to check on, while I'm always over here looking at this wild stuff, is what the little Telegram groups are saying. Because you know, you better believe it, Telegram is going to be freaking lighting up tonight. All right, so check and see if they ended up coming in yet. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot going on right now. F Iran, oh no. Yep, I see you guys in there, man. Believe me, I see you. I see you. I see you. Better believe I see you. Yep, that video got a lot of people excited, didn't it? Something about women crying. God only knows if her kids were killed in that attack or what was taking place. I got a feeling it's going to be a little bit greater than 3 by the time that everything comes out. But as of right now, they're reporting 3 dead. Here's another look from the ground level. Looks like you were actually just looking at that woman's apartment complex. And again, still waiting on that new wave of Iranian ballistic missiles to come through. Here is Beersheba on the ground again. Freaking nuts. Absolutely nuts. I got another video of that strike that just actually came through. So it looks like people are down in their bomb shelters uploading these videos.
وای وای این ماله والله به الهیم نفر اسم الله وای وای این ماله والله به الهیم نفر
And that is the moment in which 3 people lost their lives, at least at this point. That's the current toll that we have on that particular strike. Still waiting on more to come through. More information and more ballistic missiles should be entering Israeli airspace sometime here in the very near future. And I'll let you guys know. Like I said, I'm pulling several feeds, so we're just going to sit here as this whole dang thing unrolls. Jacob says, dang, seems staged. It's not, but still, yeah, man. Dude, I get it. A lot of this crap you end up seeing, you're like, okay, is this staged? Is this how it's going? And yeah, to keep you guys up to speed, we have 40 minutes to go until the ceasefire is supposed to take in full effect. Benjamin says, do you think this could be an attempt to coax Israel into retaliating and push the narrative they violated the peace agreement? Yeah, absolutely, I do. 100%. I also think that this could be Iran retaliating because the Ayatollah got killed. Those are 2 very real possibilities right now. That Iran might not actually stop this ballistic missile attack because of that. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, if these are the last shots fired by Iran and Iran wants to abide by the ceasefire agreement, and the way it was reported by Trump and the way it's been reported in mainstream media, then Israel still has plenty of time left to respond to this. So right around, if you are in the United States of America, it would be noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow that Israel would have to cease their firing upon Iranian territory. Oh, my goodness. Yep, there's that attack. Still waiting on more to come in. Haven't seen any new reports. If you guys are getting them, let me know. Drop it down in the chat. If you guys are getting reports of intercepts or anything like that, or feel free to go over, tag me on X. Let me know when those are coming out. This may be to the last salvo. Dude, I got a feeling they're going to keep firing these suckers up until the very last minute if they're going to be doing it here. Private Catfish, you just got in. Confirmed the Ayatollah was killed. No, it's not confirmed. We've got several unconfirmed reports that he and his family got killed. But again, I'm saying it very clearly for the camera. Those are unconfirmed reports that the Ayatollah got killed along with his family. There is no confirmation that he is dead. Absolutely none. Iran's got plenty of ballistic missiles left. They can continue to fire them. They're probably loading them out of the dang cave right now. Freaking nuts. This is from earlier today, but it's still a badass video. This is the U.S. Army Patriot coming out of Al Udeid Air Base that was intercepting Iranian ballistic missiles earlier today. So just a little freaking eye candy while we're waiting on everything to get going here. Give me a second. I've got something new here. Yeah, this is this level of attack that Iran is doing, I think, is definitely going to get an Israeli response. I've seen reports, which is not true. I know it just not to be true, that is somebody tried saying that Israel possibly like had pulled their jets out of Iran and then they ended up firing. That's not true. If you guys are saying stuff like that, that's garbage. Israel had their jets over Iran the entire time, so don't worry about that. Yeah. southern Israel right now. Looks like it's got more red alerts that ended up coming in a little bit more precise over towards the coastline to the center of the country. Wow, man. Freaking nuts. Absolutely nuts. Waiting on more to come in. It's like everything just fell silent. Kind of weird. Normally everything is just like hopping and popping, you know, in situations like this. And right now it definitely appears that a lot of things went silent. It's a lot of information on Beersheba. Starting to make me wonder whether or not Israel, because in the past, you know, Israel has asked people not to be publishing information on these strikes and locations so that Iran cannot adjust their targeting on the area. And that might actually be what we're seeing right now. It could be an attempt by Israel to control some of the outgoing information so that, you know, Iran is not receiving that stuff back. So that is possible. I know I'm missing a buttload of stuff over in the chat as I'm doing this. We got Flappin' Broke or Flat Effin' Broke coming in, gifting out 5 Speak the Truth memberships. Thank you so much, sir. Flat Effin' Broke becoming an ultimate truth supporter. Hell yeah, buddy. Appreciate you. Let's see here. Other than that, I believe I'm caught up on the super chats over there in that feed. Let me get back over here for the 6,500 of you guys that are hanging out in here right now. We are waiting. Well, 6,500 of you guys hanging out over on YouTube right now, waiting on all this to go down. How many of you guys are chilling over on X, just out of curiosity? 4,500. Cool, man. So for the 10,000, 11,000 of you guys that are watching this right now, just know that we are waiting on more incoming strikes from Iran. Appreciate you guys gifting out memberships. If you haven't yet, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Always trying to bring you guys the latest and the greatest of everything that's going on and trying to give you guys the actual truth. If it's not truth, I'm gonna let you guys know that it's unconfirmed as that comes out. And if I think it's BS, I'm just gonna flat out tell you it's BS in Matt's opinion. And I'm just gonna let that ride like that. Yeah, this video, man, this one right here, this is, I got a feeling that this video is gonna be one of those like rally cries from Israel when it goes down to not having a ceasefire, not abiding by it. I also, man, I don't know. I just don't know.
Боже, що був? Вам жить негде.
All right, so New York Times is reporting that Iran's supreme leader is preparing, basically, he's named a predecessor in case he ends up getting killed and has an entire lineup picked up for all of his generals in case they get schwacked. Well, yes, secession of command, that is something that is very important. I would expect him to do that and have that. So New York Times, thanks for that. Really appreciate it if you guys use your extensive network and research to get a little bit more accurate information out there. Wow, man. All right, let me grab this feed and get this up over here. Looks like some more stuff ended up coming out. Give me a sec. Like I said, the 3 people were killed in that attack. And if I could, real quick, let me do this. Oh, come on. How do I translate that? Let me get it up. I know there's a way to do it. I haven't done it in a while. Nope, that's not what I want to do. You know what? Let me just do it anyways. All right. Israeli Pulse News just put out there is at least 1 person that is trapped underneath the rubble over in Beersheba. So that's not good. That's not going to turn out well. I really don't see that turning out good at all. Like I said, if you guys are getting more up-to-date information, and here we go.
נפל לי בבית. נפל לי בבית. תכנסי, שימי נעליים, שימי נעליים! כל הבית שלי מפוצץ. נפל לי בבית.
All right, Aaron David says Ayatollah could have been an inside job. Regime members pissed about how schwacked they are getting. Ayatollah won't accept a ceasefire. He's delusional. That's what I think. T minus 31 minutes. So we are T minus 30. Paranormal coming in with 5. He says, keep up the great work from Golden, Colorado. Is that the home of Kears Light? I believe it is. Y'all need to learn how to make some better beer out there. Please get on that. All right. Looks like Israel's home front command is stating it is safe to leave the protected areas. Dude, I don't even know if I would trust that right now. Truthfully, because there's a lot. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but the other day before Iran launched one of their ballistic missile attacks, they actually sent out some fake, like, phone calls, text messages, things like that, in order to tell people to get out of there. Spencer, really? New red alerts? Oh, you got to be shitting me, man. You got to be shitting me. Somebody's saying the Ayatollah is live. You know, I'm really curious while we're at it. I want to know if he's actually put out anything new lately, because he tends to do that from time to time. So let's just go see if he's put out any recent statements since these new waves of attack have been coming in. Last thing the Ayatollah ended up putting out, and this was 6 hours ago, and it was, again, right before Trump ended up making the announcement that there'd be a ceasefire. The Ayatollah had stated, those who know the Iranian people and their history know that the Iranian nation isn't a nation that surrenders. So he's stating that they're not going to surrender, and then we end up getting that. So we'll end up see what happens there. And yes, the Ayatollah does support pedophilia. For those that don't know, that is a very real thing. By the way, if you guys are seeing this video, and believing that this is one of the U.S. bunker busters, you're wrong. That's not what that is. Sun Wukong says, that guy said, my house fell, my house fell, my house is destroyed. That's really sad, man. But I mean, it is the nature of war. Let's be honest. You know, a lot of you guys have sat over here, as I've been reporting on the wars over the last couple of years, and you'll look at things over inside Gaza, you look at things, you know, across the Middle East and be like, all right. I mean, think about how many of you guys sat here when the ballistic missiles were falling on Tehran. I'm not saying that I don't agree that those strikes shouldn't have taken place, but think about that, because I promise you those people on the ground over inside of Tehran were thinking the exact same things. And it's really hard to kind of wrap your head around this sometimes, you know, when you're looking at it and you're going through it all. But it's one of those things that, like, when you're standing there, you're just like, what in the hell? You know, like, how is that? Like, how is this even possible? John Spencer just said, from a military history lens. Now, John Spencer, for those of you guys that don't know, he is the chief of urban warfare over at West Point. He said, from a military history lens, there are historical precedents for ceasefire structured like the Israel-Iran agreement, with staged timelines, future implementation windows, and symbolic declarations of war's end. The 1953 Korean War armistice was signed in the morning but took effect 12 hours later, allowing final military movements before a synchronized halt. During the 73 Yom Kippur War, a UN-brokered ceasefire gave both sides a 12-hour window. 95 Daytona Accords ending the Bosnian War involved a phased timeline with military withdrawals and political milestones spaced out over weeks. In 2014, Israel and Hamas adopted ceasefires with delayed activation, giving 12 to 72 hours to deconflict operations. Ending a war is not a flip of a switch, but a careful staged process, often with countdowns, final missions, and a moment of formal closure. Yeah, I like John. He's a very smart guy. He ends up putting out some pretty solid information. He's always got really good level-headed insights when it comes down to things. Oh, my goodness, man. How the hell is this just still ongoing? All right. Oh, my goodness, man. I just got word another wave of Iranian ballistic missiles was fired. Thank God. I thought everything was over. No, ladies and gentlemen, another wave of Iranian ballistic missiles just got fired. Timothy Holland says, hey, Matt, love and prayers from Hawaii. Why do we attack military targets when they are attacking civilians? Because we actually abide by the laws of armed conflict. Flash with no dash says, any chance negotiations for ceasefire aren't with the Ayatollah, but were made with the prince, with the promise that Israel schwack the Ayatollah. That's actually my belief. To be perfectly honest with you, which would make sense. But at the same time, Iran did come back out and confirm, that the ceasefire was a thing. and yet they're still firing. But like I said, when that ceasefire information ended up coming out is when that massive freaking airstrike started to hit Tehran about, you know, what, 4 hours ago ish. All right. Maybe 5, I think maybe 5 hours ago is when all that happened. So we ended up having all of that crap happen all at once and just questioning whether or not the Ayatollah is actually alive. Do you not listen to our politicians? That's what they believe. Dude, I do not. I mean, sometimes I listen to our politicians. I listen to the ones that make statements about what our stance is and what we are going to do. And that's that. Let me see here. Let me see if I can get you guys the projected impact locations over inside of Israel. I'm sure you guys already have it. Looks like we've got, hold on. New statement from the IDF. It says a short while ago, the IDF identified missiles launched from Iran towards the territory of the state of Israel. Defense systems are operating to intercept the threat. Upon receipt of alert, the public is instructed to enter the protected space and remain there until further notice. Leaving the protected space is only permitted following an explicit directive. Continue to follow the instructions from the home front command. So there you go. There you go. So another alert ended up coming out from the IDF. More announcements. Yay. Yay. Iran, you need to calm the hell down. This is, you guys, look, you got to understand that this phase ceasefire that's taking place, right? For every ballistic missile right now that Iran is launching over at Israel, Israel has the ability, even though the ceasefire for Iran ends in 20 minutes, okay? So the ceasefire for Iran is scheduled to end in 20 minutes. Even though that ends in 20 minutes, Israel has an additional 12 hours to retaliate against Iran. They have an additional 12 hours after that to continue to retaliate against Iran. That's going to carry the way all the way through to noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. Just FYI. FYI. New video of the strike over in Beersheba that I just got tagged in. So thank you, Jimmy Don, for tagging me in that video. I'm not sure if you're watching me on X or if you're watching me over on YouTube. Let me get that one up there for everybody at home. This is a new video. I hadn't seen this one. I don't think I've had this up on the screen for you guys yet. But again, direct impact. That's not the right video. That's not the right one. Let me see if I can get that going. There it is. Or Haldeman wants me to give a shout out to his sons, Cooper and Logan. Well, Cooper and Logan, thank you guys for watching. I am actually kind of okay with a dad showing their freaking boys what actually happens in the world. In my opinion, it's actually important for people to understand what's going on. So Cooper and Logan, welcome over to the club, pals. Thank you guys for your support. Vika came in, gifting out 10. Appreciate you, Vika. Really, really do. Yeah, I mean, you can call it a taste of their own, but collateral damage works both ways. I've been saying it forever. You know, everybody wants to see the big scary beast until it shows up, and then all of a sudden you don't want to see it no more. And it happens, and it is happening. I'm surprised. I've been checking back for any information coming out from the Ayatollah or anything of that nature. I haven't seen a dang word out of him yet. Open up another feed here. Give me just a sec as I do that. Interesting. Go ahead and get this one up over on the screen for you guys. Give me just a sec here. Take me just a sec to open it up. Iran, man. Always with their damn ballistic missiles. It's like a kid that you give a hammer to and just tell them to have fun smashing it. They just never really stop.
ומה קרה בתוך האוטובוס? חלון של הנהג, הכל פה מפורק. אין חלונות, אין כלום, תסתכל. החלון של הכל מפורק פה. וואי וואי.
The good news about that video, as you guys can see, is there's no blood stains on the buses, so that's a plus. Let's see here. Lord Croc, Matt, I have a feeling that Israel is going to implement some tacticals today. We'll see what happens, man. I don't know about that. Really don't know if that's going to... I mean, there is the possibility that Israel doesn't do a dang thing after this, to be honest with you. That is out there. But I just don't see it with all the destruction that's taking place right now, that it's not happening. All right, sirens are sounding over inside of Israel right now. So... that just got put out by Israeli Pulse News. You've got sirens sounding over inside Israel. You've got more incoming right now. So that wave should be reaching there momentarily. And then we'll get word of where they're impacting. Those suckers fly pretty damn fast. So see what happens. Hopefully Iran's launching some of their medium and not their long-range ballistic missiles. They actually launched some of their much larger ones. Not in today's attacks, but a couple attacks ago, they ended up launching some very big ones with 750 kilogram warheads. That's no joke. So you guys do the math. You're talking about right around 1,500 plus pounds that would be coming in. Again, this is the attack that ended up being Beersheba. It's pretty significant when you actually take a look at that blast up on the screen, like where it ended up impacting right there. Very, very significant. It's a massive freaking boom. Massive, massive boom. All right, let's keep this sucker rolling. You guys are wanting to see it, and we'll see if we can find it. Again, it's... Yep. Areas affected up on the screen for you guys, so be on the lookout. Tel Aviv looks like it is right in the middle of the crosshairs, but Bethlehem is not out of the picture either. Not out of the picture. Oh my goodness. This is Beersheba. You know, Brian, I'm very curious about how old that statement is, but it looks like Iranian foreign minister says that there's no agreement on a ceasefire with Israel. Tehran will halt if Israel stops its illegal aggression. If that's the case, and that actually just got put out, I'm checking right now on the time frame of that. So give me a sec as I pull that up. If that is the case, so that was 2 hours ago. Just FYI, that was 2 hours ago. I remember when this information actually came out. I actually think it was a little bit closer to 3 hours ago. But yes, this is Iran's foreign minister, which makes me freaking scratch my head. But just so you guys are aware, he does bring up a very valid point. As you guys can see, that this came out, let's see here. Yep, 2 hours ago. I guess that was right before I went live is when this nut job said it. So literally, thank you for pointing this out. And right before I went live, when all of these ballistic missile attacks started to take place, this was Iran's foreign minister. As Iran has repeatedly made clear, Israel launched war on Iran and not the other way around. As of now, there is no agreement on any ceasefire or cessation of military operations. However, provided that the Israeli regime stops its illegal aggression against the Iranian people no later than 4 a.m. Tehran time, we have no intention to continue our response afterwards. The final decisions on the cessation of our military operations will be made later. 4 a.m. Tehran time, that was several hours ago, if my brain stands corrected, which would have been, I feel like I actually already read this now that I think about it. Yeah, that appears to be a little bit late of a post that he ended up putting out. So let's see here. Currently in Tehran, it is 7:15 a.m. 7:15 a.m. So that statement would have been good a little over 3 hours ago. When you're looking at that, the Iranian foreign minister did say that. So he was saying that 3 hours ago, Israel was supposed to stop their aggression. Otherwise, it would have been off. So if we were to take that at face value, what you could actually say, which it would be true, 3 hours ago, Israel was in fact bombing Tehran. And that very well could also be the reason for this ballistic missile barrage. And the current ones that we're seeing take place is that Israel continued to bomb even after the foreign minister put that out. So that is very likely what's kind of going down right now. Can't believe that shit. This is getting freaking nuts, man. Why, dude? Why? Stop. Everybody just stop. All right, getting back over here, bringing it in. Yes, that's what I said. It's 7. So like I said, 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago over there is when they ended up saying that. Israel, if they do act, will not act in the open. They will not directly disrespect Trump like that. You know, I thoroughly disagree with that statement. I think that Israel might just act in that case. Aiden Larson says Iran is going to keep sending missiles till the last minute. So if Israel ends up responding, they can say that they broke the ceasefire. Yep, 100% agree with you, my friend. 100%. My Life Unscripted came in, gifting out 2-0 Fatty Speak the Truth memberships. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate that. All those donations absolutely matter. Doing my best because my my feed over on the YouTube side of the house right now is getting a little bit balled up. Doing my best to get caught up with it. It's just forcing me to refresh the screen, but there's so much information coming through right now. It's just taking a minute. Go over here to this feed and check out, see what's brand new that just ended up coming in. Oh, for the love of God. Yeah. So allegedly, in 20 minutes, Iran is supposed to stop shooting. 12 hours after that is when Israel is supposed to stop shooting. And then 12 hours after that, officially, the war is supposed to be over. Matt is saying what I've been saying. Stop, just stop. Yeah, dude, yeah, that's exactly where I'm at these days, man. It's just like, come on, man. Can we all just get along? I know we can't. And it's just frustrating. It's just really frustrating. I don't understand people. All right, ladies and gentlemen, they're going to continue to shoot these dang things. We need Jerry Springer to broker it. No, we don't. Jerry Springer is not what we need. I'm telling you right now, man, Epstein list is going to end up coming out right in the middle of all this freaking crap. You watch. It's just randomly going to drop. Randomly, they're going to end up dropping that list. Ah, so many things. All right, so new information's coming out of Beersheba. It looks like it's going to be declared a mass casualty event. A lot of people were still not in bunkers when that ended up happening, and were in the building when it got struck. So Beersheba looks like it might turn into a mass cas event, and that's not good. For those of you guys that don't know, that's not good at all. At all. I don't like that at all. Jesus, man. Oh, God. All right. So everything appears to be slowing down right now, even though I know it's not. But everything is quieted down. Even when I go look over, it's weird. It's almost like a lot of the information from both sides have kind of stopped flowing, which is weird. It really does. Let me double check. Yep. Yep. It's all slowed down, ladies and gentlemen. Dear God. Hold on. Yep. Ballistic missiles over Jerusalem. So this is the report that I told you guys about the targeted assassination. And now it's being reported that it was the nuclear scientist that ended up getting whacked. Give you a video of that nuclear scientist that got schwacked over inside of Tehran real quick. Let me get this up on your guys' screen.
یا فردوسی آره رو زدم فردوسی آره یا فردوسی آره رو زدم فردوسی آره یا فردوسی آره.
And as everything's raining down, just real quick, Donald Trump came out and said, we couldn't have made today's deal without the talent and courage of our great B-2 pilots and all of those associated with it in that operation. In certain and very ironic way, that's a perfect hit. Late in the evening, brought everyone together, and the deal was made. This is a deal, apparently, ladies and gentlemen. This is peace unfolding before your eyes. I've often said it before, war is always hidden, and today it's just being brought home on camera, front and center for everybody to see. This is normally crap that most people would read in the newspaper the next day. And now it's just instant. I think people are actually seeing what's going on. They're just, you know, holy freaking crap. Yeah, it's appalling to see this level of actual destruction that's taking place. Tom Bone says, if you think about it in the grand scheme of things, everything we as a species squabble about is nothing more than meaningless BS. Tom Bones, I think about that every single day I stare up at the sky. I used to stare up at the sky every single night overseas and just stare at the freaking stars and be like, wow, we are so small and insignificant. This is just absolutely ridiculous. Danny Golan says a synagogue ended up getting hit and tagged me in a video. I'll have to go see if I can find that. My feed is blown up over there. Dakota, Israel is probably sick of Iran lying, so they want to hit all of the targets. I mean, could be. Ham Slicer says, do you know the flight time from Iran to Israel? Yes, it's approximately 12 minutes for their medium-range ballistic missiles. So from the moment of launch, it takes them about 12 minutes for their medium-range ballistic missiles. If they're firing cruise missiles, I believe it's like 6 hours, like 4 to 6 hours. And if they are firing drones, it is like an ungodly amount of time, like 10 to 12 hours. It's a lot. All right, more missile alerts coming off now. Ceasefire is official. So you've got about 8 minutes to go. This might be the last wave if Iran isn't lying. This might be the last wave of ballistic missiles if Iran isn't lying. This one I have shown, as a matter of fact. I see you over there, Jimmy Don. I did show that one, but I'll put it up there anyways because we've got a lot of people in here and they might not have seen it yet. This is the last attack on Beersheba, and that report is getting confirmed. More ballistic missiles are inbound, so you've got another ballistic missile wave that's inbound over to Israel here within about the next 12 minutes, FYI. You can expect impacts and or intercepts somewhere around the 10-minute mark from now, which means that I would bet your butt that. So looking at the clock, knowing that that information is a little bit delayed for when it goes out, and knowing about the flight time, I could see it taking about 3 minutes in today's day and age for that information to start filtering its way over. This is going to be your 5th ballistic missile barrage of the evening fired by Iran at Israel. Time on target likely is going to be right on the hour in the next 7 minutes or so. That's what I would assess. Because why the hell wouldn't Tehran try to time out and squeeze out the very last moment for this attack? It's absolutely what it appears to be. Absolutely what appears to be going down right now. So now we have the 5th wave of ballistic missiles that are on their way over into Israel. And I did not get any of the last one other than reports of intercepts that had taken place. No reports of new strikes from the 4th wave of ballistic missiles that Iran ended up firing. So not sure where those impacts were at that time. Yeah, man, I'm really starting to think, I don't know. We'll find out. Like, honestly, we're going to end up finding out. It's freaking wild, man. Absolutely wild. And it looks like the 3 individuals that got killed was 1 woman and 2 men. 2 others in their 50s sustained moderate injuries and were evacuated to a hospital. 6 people ended up having minor injuries and they are being treated on the scene. Paramedics said that there is extensive damage to the building. Obviously, we saw that, along with damage to nearby buildings. There is currently emergency teams over on. There was reports of people buried inside of the rubble. They did declare it a mass casualty incident. I don't know if they can actually confirm that's only 3 people dead at this time. I got a feeling that number might go up based on what we saw on the screen. Keith Sobel, I felt that look up in the sky comment every day, man. Every single day. It gets even more real when you have kids. 100%, dude. It really does. And I really wish more people would take a second and look up in the sky and realize how flipping insignificant we are in the overall grand scheme of things, but also how magnificent this freaking world is, and maybe try to respect it a little bit more. Things might go a little bit better. Lord Croc, Matt, thanks from the bottom of my heart for hosting these streams lately. You help keep my PTSD tame amidst all of this turmoil and insanity. Yeah, that's one of the things, that I have noticed